Hello and welcome. My name is Scott Suskovic. I'm pastor at Christ Lutheran Church, and welcome to this podcast that we call Deeper Dive, in which we take a look at the previous Sunday's sermon and go at a deeper level for a great conversation. We're glad you're here. Welcome to this next podcast of Deeper Dive. I'm Pastor Scott Suskovic, and with me,
I'm Pastor Ryan Ritzman.
We're glad that you can join us. We've got, Ryan, we've got kind of a delicate topic here today because we have tried to remain somewhat apolitical from the pulpit because Christ Lutheran has a wide swath of people. We have not identified ourselves with the left or the right because we wanted to be inclusive for all people.
Yeah, Jesus is neither left nor right and would scoff at anybody trying to put him into either of those boxes.
You ever seen those books that Jesus was a Democrat or Jesus was a Republican?
Oh, yeah. And then they all use the exact same verses to prove
that
Jesus is on their side.
And I think you're right that Jesus had that more inclusive. But we did manage to talk about it on Sunday, in which we identified, acknowledged the hurt on both sides. That is, on the left, a feeling of hopelessness, of fear, of deep sadness. Not all, but some. And on the right, again, just some, feeling ashamed. That is, having friends or family saying, we can't hang out with you anymore because of the way you voted.
Yeah.
You are immoral, you are unchristian because of the way you voted. And so there is enough hurt to go around on both sides.
Yeah, when you have that much animosity, I don't know that that's just something you can sweep under the rug. You have to address it. It needs to be looked at.
And you and I and Adrian are pastors for them all. And so I have kept it very private about how I voted. I mean, I love talking politics. It's not a surprise. I lean a little more to the right. But in terms of who I voted for, I purposely didn't let anybody know. Only Gretchen knows, and she's sworn to secrecy.
Okay.
And people may think they know, but they probably would be surprised. So today.
Yeah, so that's the reason we're talking.
Yeah, well, today I want to go on an angle that follows Dietrich Bonhoeffer.
Oh, okay. That was a classic legend.
Yeah, so his movie comes out this weekend.
Yes, it does. Yeah, go see that movie, right? Learn about Lutherans of old.
Yeah, we're going to the Stonecrest on Sunday, the 24th at 1 o'clock with the Faith and Family Sunday school class, and then they want to go to O&B to talk about it.
Oh, that's the best.
Isn't it?
Go get a beer right after Bonhoeffer.
Yeah, interesting. I saw an article that Bonhoeffer's family, relatives, are up in arms about this movie, saying it does not depict Dietrich in a correct way.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know the details, but the movie showed it much more hyped up, much more.
It's Hollywood-esque, right? Yeah. They gotta, when the explosion happened after the library, I think we all know that probably didn't happen.
Well, they've got to, evidently, there's a scene where Dietrich has a gun in his hand.
Oh, okay. Now that is a different move.
And they said he would never have been wielding that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to go watch it and find out.
Okay. Yeah. And you can rip it apart and we can have a good conversation about it. Oh, let's do that. We'll put something on Instagram. We'll put your take on Instagram about that.
Yeah, that'll get followers, won't it?
Yeah.
So here's my angle I want us to consider. In World War II, the Evangelische Kirche,
the evangelical church,
they were silent.
Yeah.
They were silent about Hitler. And they figured that was the worldly kingdom. We're talking about the heavenly kingdom here. And so the church remained silent.
In an effort to not get involved in the machinations of the world.
Right.
Focus on what's important. Keep your mind on things above.
Right. And as they were silent, slowly and insidiously, the Nazi regime just took inch by inch by inch until suddenly we're invading Poland, until suddenly we have concentration camps, until suddenly the Jews are wearing stars, until
Yeah.
suddenly the deportation is coming. And by the time it got way down that line, inch by inch, then the church was kind of looking at each other and say, do we speak up now?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Is it too late or can we do something about it?
And that's where Bonhoeffer came in. With his group, the Confessing Church, they became outspoken on the whole Nazi regime.
So these are the rebel scum that are hiding in planet Endor, right? I'm just using my Star Wars metaphor.
And Endor, okay.
Right? Yeah, yeah. So this is the rebels. They've pulled
These
off.
are the rebels.
Yeah,
And the Death Star
Yeah.
still continues, yes.
Yeah, so these are the guys, these are the good guys that have pulled off from the rest of the pack.
All right. That makes sense to you, right?
Oh, yeah, I got it now. All right.
Got it. So now Bonhoeffer not only begins speaking out against Hitler, but this pacifist, this brilliant theological mind
Yeah.
who could have remained in the United States teaching at Union Seminary.
That's right. He actually had an opportunity. He was in the States.
Yes.
And he decided purposefully to go back.
Right. So he goes back to be a part of the resistance. And this pacifist is part of a plot to assassinate Hitler.
That is not pacifist.
No. But sometimes, I think in his mind, and I'll find out when I watch the movie more, that this is so insidious that it warrants drastic measures.
Well, so if theologically we can say then that he recognized that the government, the man Hitler that he was going to assassinate, no longer held within its hand the kingdom that it was given by God. And so he was going to take that was his place in the world. And we joked about being the rebel, but that might actually be his place to say, no, that regime no longer has the authority to be in power, to be authoritative.
Right. And I suspect that the confessing church, the state church, looked at Romans 13 and said that obey the earthly government. All governors, all rulers are placed there by God. And so they just remain silent and passive. But there comes a point in which you need to defy. So for instance, I drive on Providence Road every day. In my heart of hearts, I believe it should be 60 miles an hour on that road.
You would be in the slow lane.
Yeah, I'd be in the slow lane, right? But the government says it's 45.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so I have to obey the 45, not because of religious or moral or kingdom principles. That's the law of the land. And we as Christians, that's what Romans 13 is saying.
That's right.
Obey it.
Obey.
But when it goes against the commandments of God, when it goes against the very principles, that's when we speak up. Paul was forbidden to speak, and he had to speak. He says we must obey God rather than man.
And so then the question is, how do you draw the line? Where? When do you know that they have crossed the line? Is it because the party I don't like was elected? Does that mean that the line has been crossed?
Yeah, and even Jesus was a social disobedience. He was told not to preach as well.
And yet he still said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Right. So he recognized the authority that governmental authorities are innate, right? That they have this. But then he recognized that doesn't necessarily mean that they're good authorities or should be followed blindly.
But I think the default as Christians throughout history, especially in early church, especially in the New Testament, the default is that Christians were also good citizens.
Sure, yeah. Pay your taxes, build something. The Protestant work ethic has done wonders, I think, for the way of the world.
So when it comes to whoever gets elected into the White House, and that changes, boy, it's gone Democrat, Republican, every 4 years it's switched,
Always
right?
does, it does, absolutely.
And even if we don't like or voted for the person in office, the default is to say, that person's my president.
Okay, yeah.
Until when?
Till their 4 years are up, right? Unless you mean to say, what's the line? When
What's
can we
the
say
red
they finally
line?
crossed it?
What's the red line in saying this goes beyond 45 or 60 miles an hour on Providence Road? This is morally wrong.
So I think the answer to that is not, here's the flag and let's plant it. I think the answer to that is that the church has a conversation about who Jesus is, who we are as Jesus followers, and then what does that mean for us in the world? Can we then follow what the government is telling us? And one of those basic principles that Bonhoeffer came up with was, well, the government said that there are people in this world and they're less than dogs. They have no value. And that doesn't sound like I am my brother's keeper. That sounds like I am my brother's jailer.
Right.
There's a line.
There's a line. And as this presidency in the United States unfolds, I suppose we're going to have to distinguish what is political rhetoric during the campaign.
And there's lots of that.
There's a lot of that on both sides. Political rhetoric and what actually goes into action. And again, as default Christians, we follow the government. We may not like it, but we're going to have to watch out to see if it crosses any red line. And when it does, boy, may God give us and representatives and judges and the masses the courage to speak up.
You know, I think here we need to interject because one of the rubs is that we would interject is good, is right. But we need to make sure that we're following the Lord God and not some idol.
Yes.
Because often I think that's the problem with politics, is that we could become idolatrous of whatever political position or political party. And if that group, that we identify with is then not given power, then we become up in arms about it because we're being attacked. But that's not a religious attack.
Right.
It's a political one. And we veered off into idolatry. And so that's why I think the conversation in the church is so important. Because if I'm just hearing whatever my news source tells me, and all my buddies who think the same way are telling me, and of course they're getting their news from the same news sources.
Yep.
How do we know that we have truth? Well, we have truth in conversation, in relationship, in the church with Jesus.
To go back to World War II, there was that phrase in Nazi Germany, my country, right or wrong.
Oh.
And it was a blind following, my country, right or wrong.
That is, wild. That's going to take you to weird places, man.
It is. And as this unfolds, it may be the same thing. We have to be aware, because again, it could be on both sides. My political party, right or wrong.
There it is. Yes.
My left, my right or wrong.
Right. My political position,
right or wrong.
There. And if you don't agree with me, then I know that Jesus also doesn't agree with you, right? Isn't that the thought process?
That's a thought process.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to get into politics a whole lot more in the pulpit.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so. You made a good case that it has a place and not from the pulpit.
Yeah. And we need to have those difficult, good conversations, but it's got to be a conversation.
That's it. That's what you were saying. That if you were just to assume that God's position is yours and then pontificate, then that's not a conversation. That's a political rally from whatever position you hold.
Yeah, and I think it's an abuse of our calling as preachers of the gospel. You know, Paul had that great phrase again, we preach Christ crucified.
Yeah, there it is.
And no matter what illustration or thought that we bring up, if it doesn't lead to the cross, then we haven't done our job.
Yeah, then something's gone off. Yeah, I think it's a good place to leave it, that everything should lead to the cross.
Lead to the cross.
And everything else, take the back seat.
Yeah, so I mentioned the three things that we can do. First one is remember that God's still on the throne.
Amen.
No matter who's rotating on the resolute desk.
Yeah, that's right.
God remains firmly ensconced on the throne.
Yes, there are many kings, but the King of Kings is Christ himself.
And the second thing is still find joy.
Mm.
Even if things didn't go my way, even if I'm disappointed, even though, my head's going to explode with the next cabinet appointee,
Yeah.
I'm going to find joy.
There. Good. Right. Because there is joy. Life is a gift. So don't squander it.
But the most important thing that we talked about on Sunday was letting the light of Christ that dwells within us, letting that light shine, this little light of mine. Let your light so shine that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven, that we may be the light of Christ in a darkened world. We may be the light of Christ in a fractured world, that we may be the light of Christ to bring healing to a broken world. So I am hopeful. I am optimistic that that God's will continue to be among us, and He
amen.
will use us to bring that checks and balance and light and hope, right?
As He always has for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we remember that Christians were being persecuted and dying literally? So I don't know what's about to come, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to throw us in a coliseum.
I'm pretty sure. I hate lions.
Me too.
Hey, thanks for joining us here, and we look forward to joining you next week.
See you next week.